Hey, everybody. I'm Ankur Kumar. I'm Director Technology with Publicis Sapient. In today's session, I'm going to cover how did we evaluate, build, launch, and foster contextual search experience. Currently, I'm working as a chief technology architect for one of the financial clients, and I'm looking at the financial services portfolio in Publicis Sapient. So in today's session, I'm going to share a case study where we did build a search experience for a wealth management client. And I'm going to go through the journey of how did we evaluate, build a faster and contextual search experience as part of that journey. Moving on. So it started with a business challenge, and the challenge it started 3 years back when we started engaging with this financial client. They had a large monolith system, and we wanted to re-engineer that system because of some business reasons which is very explicit, that wanted to improve the operational efficiency, wanted to reduce the time to market, wanted to reduce the TCO of the overall solution, and also the user experience is what their focus was. So considering all these key business drivers, they started with this mapping capabilities, that what do we need to do then in next 3 to 4 years in terms of building that wealth management platform. So what we started doing was mapping out those capabilities, and we ended up in 4 pillars of those capabilities. As you can see on the screen, operational efficiency is one bigger area where we wanted to ensure that we bring the process efficiency in different wealth and financial management processes like prospect and client management, account aggregation, and so forth. Similarly, we wanted to build a future-ready, cloud-ready kind of platform so that the platform is scalable, extensible. We can reduce the time to market and all those nice features, right? So that's the second pillar. The third pillar was the user experience, and user experience was mostly how to build the better experience for the advisors and their clients. And we started doing that with third pillar as an user experience in our mind. And then the last and the most important was the business enablement, that how do we help re-engineer some of the business processes. And in order to do so, we started with this digital journey. And that digital journey was, again, a 3-year-old journey where we started to build a modern, easy-to-use digital platform so that we can build all those key goals which we talked about just now. And the key challenge was, how we can digitize most of the current processes, how we can build something from scratch, like the technology stack, and also the integration between vendors and take care of how do we do it everything on time. That's the key important aspect. So key areas to focus when we started building that platform. One is the technology and architecture, so that we have the latest and greatest technology stack, microservices oriented, cloud native stack, and also simplify the third-party integration, because in any typical wealth management solution, third-party integration is one of the area where you have to do a lot of integration with many different vendors. The second aspect is your customer experience. Like we talked in the previous slide, that the end-to-end digital experience was the most important part of this whole digital journey, right? So we wanted to make sure that advisors they are able to present the bigger financial picture to the client. They offer the capabilities from experience perspective. And the last part is more about how we can accelerate the delivery. When we started this journey, the client had a very long life cycle in terms of taking things to production. So we wanted to ensure how do we accelerate that journey and have a very predictable time to market. And that's the key goal. I know this journey, there are different aspects in terms of digital platform we are talking about. But the key aspect which I'm going to talk about today is the search. And search being the core of this digital platform, I'm going to go through with the journey of what we did for the search experience. So when we started finding more about why search? And when the product team started interviewing advisors, and they rated search as one of the most used functionality in any wealth management portal. So because when you are doing a financial planning, one thing you always start is by looking up the client, looking at their financial portfolio, their demographics and other information. So everything start with search for an advisor. So their experience and search, as you know, everybody is using Google these days, and it's always in millisecond response time. So for advisors, although everything start with a search, the key thing is they wanted everything like the response time, especially that it has to be something like Google where you respond very quickly. And definitely from business perspective, they didn't want, the time to market was the key. They didn't want it to be like a 2-year long journey, right? They wanted it to be launched in 6 to 8 months. They didn't want it to be a journey which never ends. So the key part is search, which is driving the experience. So we wanted to ensure that search, we can launch that feature quickly. So when we started mapping out with product team that, okay, tell me what are the search capabilities, right? And in terms of different functional areas, and that's how we mapped out to different capabilities. And that's how typically a wealth management portal has different domains. Then we listed out from functional perspective, we want to do advisor search. That's the one of the important area. The second is client search, and client, it's a 10 million to 20 million kind of clients we are talking about. So the client base, and it's growing base. So, and you can search universally on different client attributes, their financial information, and there are different aspects of that information. Similarly, we have accounts, and accounts are much wider. The typical wealth management portal we are talking about, we had 100 million plus accounts. So again, on different attributes of account, we wanted to make sure that you can search on different aspects of the account. And then there are content search and reporting and all these different needs. So we were looking for these search capabilities which can fulfill all these functional requirements, as well as full text search, rank search, and type ahead search were the key areas from technology perspective. So we started looking, we knew that, we can't build this whole search experience from scratch and meet the timeline, right? So it's never possible that you can meet the timeline as well as you build the scalable cloud ready kind of solution for search. So when we started looking out that, okay, then what do we need to do? Then we started looking out from 3 different factors perspective. One is, how do I meet the business requirement, which is like quicker time to market? I can launch this feature quickly in 6 to 8 months kind of time frame and meet the business requirement. And second factor is more about how do I meet all the capabilities? Business didn't want to compromise on the business and functional features. That they wanted to not reinvent the wheel, but they wanted all those capabilities which we saw on the previous slide. The third thing, which is from the enterprise architecture perspective, we wanted to not want any vendor lock-in, and we wanted to have an industry standard solution, including the open source, so that we have the full transparency about the solution. And not to mention is the security is another area of importance considering the financial client, right? So we started looking out from all these capabilities perspective, that what is the search solution we should choose for. And we ended up using Elastic Stack, and Elastic was pretty much meeting most of the search capabilities which we just talked about, especially in terms of enterprise-wide search, logging and analytics, in terms of providing APM as a solution, also doing different full text search and other requirements. And one of the key factors why we chose Elastic was also looking at who's using Elastic. And when we started looking out in the industry and read the case studies, I found out that, whether it's Walmart, which is building a analytics solution using Elastic, or GitHub, which is using Elastic for different search operations on millions of Git repositories, or eBay for offering search as a service, we saw that it's something which is the industry standard. Pretty much everybody is using Elastic when it comes to search. So we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So we, based on these factors, we chose the Elastic as a stack, right? So moving forward, right, and in terms of, if you look at any search solution stack, right, so you start with different channels that what I need to support. I need to support app service. I need to support webs service. I need to support APIs, and in search as an API. We still need to do that, right? So we need to support all these user experience areas that so that you can support multi-channel, you can support through different layers. And Elastic has Kibana, which is going to give us that user experience bit. Although we are using Kibana plus API interface, like the Elastic API interface as well. And then the next layer in any search technology is where you're storing your data, which is your Elastic indexes. The key thing to mention here is security. We took care of XPack and different aspects of security using out-of-the-box capabilities like XPack and ensuring the document level security. It's not that an advisor can search another advisor's clients, right? So we ensure that that document level security is in place, and we did leverage a lot of out-of-box features, including the document level security feature, which comes out of the box with Elastic, and ensure that all the indexes are using that, right? So the next layer is the data ingestion layer, and definitely our choice was Logstash. The reason being is it was lightweight. It was able to pull data from different sources. And for logs and all, we use Beats, and Beats has a wide variety of Beats plugin, which we ensure that we ship the logs to Elastic as a central point. So if you look at this technology stack, you can think of how we have integrated the entire stack into the technology area. And also you need to ensure that this is meeting the business and infra and other requirements what we have. So moving on, the ingestion is one area where I want to briefly talk about, Ricord, because in any search solution, the ingestion is the part where you struggle the most, because you have to ingest data from different sources and ensure the data is available almost near real time. You don't want to delay the data. So we started using Beats for sure for all the logs. That was pretty straightforward. But for data collection for all business related objects like advisor data, client data, accounts data, we have to use the a flow which can do the data streaming near real time. So we ended up using Logstash, and also we added streaming solution like Kafka in between, which is next in pipeline, not in the stack of the things. So we started using these pipelines, and these pipelines we managed through Kibana. So Kibana offers the pipeline management interface so that you can manage these pipelines on real time. You can push the pipeline to the Logstash real time. So it was pretty easy for us to manage those pipelines. Once the pipelines are created, Logstash was able to pull all the data and push it to the Elastic cluster. So that way, we were able to populate the data in real time. The other crux of the solution was, when I'm saying near real time, imagine a scenario where you are creating a new client. We were also taking care of that scenario, that somebody creates a new client as an advisor. I should be able to pull the data in near real time and push it to Elastic in near real time. When I say in real time, it's within 1 to 3 seconds, so that when you do a search on that client, you can see the data. So pretty much this solution was scalable and ensure that we pull the data, we can push the data to the Elastic index. And once the data reaches to Elastic index, you can see the magic. The search was super fast. We are able to do the account search, global search, including account, client, and advisor in almost like milliseconds. So that's ingestion is an important part of this whole process, so that the data is available near real time. The other aspect of search solution is deployment, right? So wanted to talk quickly on how did we manage the deployment. And when we started exploring the deployment options, we had two options. We had option A, where we can self-host, whether it's on-prem or cloud. And because data security in any financial client is of prime importance, so we wanted to explore the option A, where we control the data security. We are compliance team monitors that and ensures that setup is as per their process. And the option B is we let Elastic provide and use the managed service. And in that case, you don't have to manage the Elastic cluster, but you are offloading that work to as a managed service. We ended up using option A. The primary reason was data security, and we ensured that we follow, and we work with the Elastic SMEs to ensure that we follow all the best practices. And we got good help from setting up the Elastic Cloud Enterprise. And Elastic Cloud Enterprise helped, building the same level of a scalable solution, which you can get in cloud. We followed all the recommended standards, and this is just a sample diagram that how you can build a scalable kind of on-prem or your own setup. But the key part, which I just want to highlight, and my personal experience was that when we were using Elastic Cloud Enterprise, it's very seamless. You can easily upgrade Elastic cluster. You can easily set up a new cluster. You can easily set up and see the maintenance operation and do the maintenance operation, what's going on within the cluster. So it's very helpful. The Cloud Enterprise console, it really accelerates the entire deployment and other areas. So eventually, right, we all doing this for what? The impact to the business. So if I summarize it in terms of what the business has achieved in this 6 to 8 months kind of journey, especially for search, is that we saw that the advisor enrollment got increased. We see that the search response time was dramatically increased, like 80%. Earlier we were using database search, and it was slow, especially when we are talking about volume like 100 million accounts and different client information search and all that. And we saw that 80% our performance monitoring tool started reporting almost like 80% uptime in terms of search response time. Our advisors rated search as the top rated functionality when it comes to list of the functionalities which they like most. And pretty much we saw that the time to market, overall time to market, got reduced by 70%. We were able to launch this feature in time, in budget, and meeting the business expectation. So it was a good win-win situation for business and technology team, choosing the right stack, the right solution, so that we got the accelerated delivery. Okay, so pretty much this is what I wanted to share. Thanks for listening to my session, and you can reach out to me in the Q&A section, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you.